Hello, everybody. I'm Mr. Timmy from Camp Grace, and what I'm going to be doing with you today is walking you through our registration process from the very beginning all the way to the end. We're going to be doing it as if your camper has never come to Camp Grace before, and that will help us out getting every single step in, so that way, no matter where you're at in the registration process, you'll be able to get some help on how to do these things. Now, if you have any further questions beyond this video, you can always email us, but please first try to find the answer in this video if it exists. All right? Now, the very first thing that we're going to be doing is going to cbmcampgrace.com. I'm already there on our screen right here. But what I'm going to be doing is walking you through registering my cat, Charlie, for summer camp. Now, naturally, of course, you can't register your pets or anything. But in this how-to video, we're going to be registering Charlie. It's her first time coming to camp. She is 10 years old, so she's in the 5th grade. And we're just going to do it one step at a time, okay? So when you're at cbmcampgrace.com, I want you to scroll over to this big green button at the top that says register, okay? Once we're there, you're going to see Big Camp with Us and another green button that says register now. Now this is going to take us to CampWise, all right? CampWise is a service that we buy, and they are the ones who manage all of our registration software. Now, sometimes the information does seem a little redundant, and we're not the ones who made this software and made this application process. However, we do love what it allows us to do. And so looking at this screen, there's going to be times when it's going to ask you for information that you've already put in, but just bear with it. It will, once you've done it the first time, it will make things easier as you move on, okay? So the first thing that we're going to do, since this is the first time I've ever registered anyone, okay, we're going to go to create new account. Then we're just going to put in our information, okay? My name is Timothy Martens, and I'm going to create a username, and it's hard for me to forget my name. And so put something that's a little unforgettable. I'm going to put Timothy Martens. Then I'm going to create a password. I'm going to put Camp Grace Rocks. I don't know if I spelled that correctly. I did. Okay. Camp Grace Rocks. Boom. And I'm going to remember that one. If I need to write it down somewhere, I will. But I'm going to hide that now. And then for my email address, I'm going to use the email that I have associated with camp, which is marketing@cbmcampgrace.com. What we want you to put here for your email is an email that you know you are going to use, the one that you check often, because we're going to be sending a lot of correspondence to you, and we're going to be using this email. So make sure you put in the email that you use the most. Security question, let's see here. I'm going to do my pet's name, and I'll use my dog. My pet's name is Charlotte. Country code United States, because I live in the United States, and then I'm going to put in the phone number at which it would be easiest to be able to reach me at, okay? This obviously is not my actual number. All right, now, after I put in my information on that first page, then we're going to move on to the camper information. Remember, when you're making this account, you're making one for you, the parent or the guardian, the person who is registering. And then you are going to have all of your children or all of the people you're responsible for put underneath you. So that way you can register them later for other events. It makes it very simple. So we just have to put in all of the information in the first place, and that will help us moving forward. So the next one is that we are going to be doing it for our camper. So the first thing I'm going to do is put in Charleston Martens, but Charleston goes by Charlie. Her birth date, she was born, we're not sure, she was a rescue, but we're going to say she was born on January 15th, 2013. Charlie is a girl. Now I'm going to put in Charlie's grade. I'm going to put the grade that she's currently in. So for this past year, the 2022 to 2023 school year. And so she is right now in the 4th grade. She'll be going to the 5th grade a little bit later. And now this is optional. You don't have to put a camper photo in, but the people who work in the office love to see the campers. Sometimes they don't get to see them at the camp itself. So we love it when you put in a photo so that way we know what they look like and it's easier for us to identify who they are. Let's see here. I have one, and we're going to go over here and this picture of Charlie. And now it's going to ask just for a confirmation, making sure that everything is correct, okay? She was born on January 15th, 2013. She's 10 years old in 15 days. She's in 5th grade. She will be in 5th grade. And then we're going to press confirm. All right, now this is for the camper as well. You can see that's the camper address information. So since Charlie lives with me, I'm just going to end up putting my own, which is right here on campus. If you put in the information, it will oftentimes autofill everything for you. You just let it put in the postal code. So once that all looks correct, we'll move on. And now we're going to put home information. Now we realize that a lot of people have the same home phone and cell phone. That's all right. If that's the case, just put them in twice. And that's the same case for me. There we go. And then once again, we have the email address. This does seem a little redundant, but use the same email that you used before, just the one that we can reach you with the best. All right, moving on. What's going to happen now is that you're going to see all of the weeks and programs that she is available for. Now, all of these might not be quite ready on this video here, but come February 1st, all of the weeks and everything that will be available to your camper will show. And so right now I'm looking at this and I see that I can sign Charlie up for an elementary retreat or a week of summer camp or the spring ladies retreat. Now, since she's going into the 6th grade, there should be a couple more weeks that show up and they should show up for you as well. But regardless, I do want her to go to the elementary 1 girls. Here are our add-ons, okay? For Charlie, there's a couple things that she can add on to her camp experience. For starters, there is the color run, which has been it's been updated and it's going to be a lot more fun for our elementary campers. I want her to do that because we're using liquid paint now and she's going to love that. So I'm going to choose the color run. I also know that Charlie loves to do arts and crafts. I know this because she leaves a mess in my house all the time. So I'm going to say that she's probably going to want to do the tie-dye craft. And you know what? I want her to do Night Under the Stars as well. Just because it's a fun little addition. She gets to make s'mores, she gets to go on a night hike, all of those things. Now total, this is going to add on $40 to my camp fee. That's okay. I want her to be able to experience all of that. I'm going to say save and next. Okay, so this is where it gets a little confusing. Right here is we're just going to be updating contact information so that way in case anything wrong happens at camp, we're able to reach you or a family member or an emergency contact. Now we ask for, including yourself, 2 additional contacts that we can get a hold of in case there's anything that happens or if we need to get in touch before or after summer camp. So if we come down here, you see that there's nothing available. So I'm going to add in some contacts. Even though I've already added in some of my information, I'm going to add it in as a contact. So the first thing I'm going to do is add all of the information that we've done already. It's going to ask for my marital status and my relation to the camper. I am the father. We ask a couple other bits of information. I'm a missionary at CBM Camp Grace. Right here, it says release camper to contact. That's important to us because it helps us know that this is a safe person that we can end up releasing your child to in case of anything or during dismissal pickup. So I'm going to put yes. Also, the camper does live with me. With that, it saved all of my information from before. And so this one is very easy. Now I just press save. And now I am as one of the contacts here. I'm going to add another contact. This time I'm going to use my mother, Miss Cheetah. She watches Charlie all the time, and I figure if someone needs to get up with someone who can help, and I'm not available, you'd probably want to call Miss Cheetah. So I'm going to put her in as the second contact. You can use whoever you want. I know it says parent guardian number 2, so if it's a mom and a dad, that would be the perfect time to do that, but it doesn't have to be. It can be any 2 people that you know are trustworthy. So we're going to put the marital status. My mother is married, and she would be the grandmother. She is also a missionary at CBM Camp Grace. Now, Charlie doesn't live with her, so I'm not going to check this. But I will still say release. But I still will say that we can release Charlie to Miss Cheetah. All right, then we're going to look at the address. Miss Cheetah lives across the street from us, so she lives on 55 Amazing Way, and the rest of it stays the same. Then I'm going to update her phone number. It can be a little strange. There we go. Perfect. And then I'm going to change the email as well to, we're going to make up an email here. But I would still put the email that I know would be best to be able to reach my mother. Now, after I have those 2 main contacts set up, we still want to have an emergency contact, okay? So we're going to go over and add a new contact, and I'm going to put in my good friend, Ben, because he would be able to help out in case there was some sort of emergency, and perhaps there's a family emergency that would tie up both my mother and I. Ben would be able to help. So I'm just going to fill in all of this information just as I have before. I would trust Ben to be able to pick up Charlie, so I'm going to check also release camper to contacts. And now I know that if all this information is correct, again, I'm making up some of this information, so make sure you put in accurate information. But now you should have all of the contacts that we need in order to be able to proceed, and that way we'll be able to reach you in case if there's any emergency. Once all of that is done, I'll press save and next. Now the next thing it's going to ask for is billing information. I'm going to be the one who's paying for Charlie, so I'm going to select myself and then press save. I could also choose any of the others, but I know it's going to be me paying for this. All right, now we're getting close. We're to the point where we can put in specific information that is from our design, stuff that we need to know, not stuff that CampWise needs to know. So we're going to start with the camper profile sheet, just some basic information that we need to know. The first thing that we want to know is this your camper's first time experience? And it would be for Charlie. For her ethnicity, I'm going to put other because she is a cat. But you put that in as you need to. Church attending, we go to Crossway in Pembroke. There is a list of a lot of the churches that have already sent campers to us, but we'd love to add your church to the list as well. So you can press other and then put in your church. The t-shirt size. Now this can be a little tricky. I can put the t-shirt size in now that I think that Charlie would fit. And since Charlie's done growing, it's going to work. But you might have a youngin' that's going to shoot up or is in the middle of a big growth spurt, and they're going to grow a couple inches before summer gets here. And the shirt size that you're putting in now might not be the same shirt size that they would need for the summer. And so try to anticipate what their shirt size is going to be for the summer. If you want to get them a little bit of a bigger clothing that you know that they're going to grow into, that would be wise. We can also change this moving into the summer. You'll just have to call us or contact us ahead of time to make sure that you still stay in our registration green line, so that way you can go straight to the cabins, okay? I'm going to say Charlie's pretty small. We're going to say youth small, 6 through 8. And for school, let's see here. I think she would go to Fairmont Middle. Okay, something that's important. We have a policy here that you need to produce your identification to pick up your child, or any person that you will have pick up your child needs to produce some sort of ID. So make sure that they bring in their driver's license or something that can identify who they are. There are no exceptions here. We will have to call someone on this list if for some reason someone comes to try to pick up your child without an ID. That's just a safety precaution for us. So the pickup contact, all of the contacts that you've already put in, that you put release to camper, also work for this. And now again, this might seem a little redundant, but this is for our personal records. You don't have to put every single person. If you put in more people in the past one, you don't have to put everyone here. But I'm just going to add on my name since it's required. It's going to go to the next page. I'm also going to put my mother here. All right, and then anyone else, if I wanted to add any more, I could add it in here. But since I already know that Ben is already added in, maybe if there were other friends that I wanted to put in or other family members, I could put them in here, but this should be fine. So now we have our cabin mate request. We're going to be a little bit more strict on how we enforce cabin mate requests. And here's why. We're just trying to protect our campers. We're just trying to make sure that they are being put into cabins that they want to be put into. And so that is why it is very important that you work with the family of the other camper that you would like for them to be cabin mates with. Now, we do our very best to honor our cabin mate requests. Here's how you do it. Charlie wants to go to camp with the other cat on campus, Bender Jezik. Now, it's important though that I talk to Jacob, who is Bender's dad, and tell him when he fills out Bender's application form that he needs to put Charlie as Bender's cabin mate request. We will only honor cabin mate requests in which the request is mutual on both sides. So make sure you're working with the parents or the guardians of the people that you are wanting to put in as cabin mates. Now you might be thinking, oh, there's a whole crew of them that want to be in the same cabin together. Now, by all means, you can make that request. We're not 100% able to honor every single request that comes in for multiple people being in the same cabin. However, we will do our best to try to honor it. However, we will honor the cabin mate request on this form, the one person that you choose, okay? So we're gonna press save here. And now our camper profile sheet is done. Very simple. All right, we're at the medical form now. So we're going to put any allergies that your camper might have. Charlie doesn't really have any, but if, for instance, your camper is allergic to, has seasonal allergies or is allergic to certain types of grass or insect bites or medicine, please check it off here in this box and then describe the allergy in the box below, okay? And then, of course, there are any medical necessary dietary restrictions. This is a required field. If there are none, write none. Since Charlie is a cat, I'm going to say she is on a cat food only diet. Now, of course, maybe your camper has something like an intolerance to milk or an intolerance to wheat or any things like that. If it's gluten or lactose or anything, make sure you write this here. We will do everything in our power to be able to minister to the needs of your camper. Then, of course, I'm going to look at here for any of the following conditions. And I'm just going to say that there is none for Charlie. When you mark this information down, this isn't so that way we can start to figure out your camper ahead of time. It just makes it so that way we can minister more effectively to them. So just let us know if there's anything that is of concern or anything that we should know about moving forward from the medical standpoint. We do have a registered nurse on campus. She's trained on how to handle all of these situations. All right, now here's the medication. There's two options that you have. This camper will not take any daily medication while attending camp, or they will. This includes things like vitamins or supplements or anything of that nature, anything that would need to be a pill that they cannot take back with them to the cabin. and we don't allow them to take any pills back to the cabin. So if you're bringing anything whatsoever, you're going to have to mark it here. We're going to, for the sake of this application, say that Charlie does indeed take medication, okay? Then we're going to go through a couple more questions. Has Charlie ever been treated for attention deficit disorder? I'm going to say no. Have they ever been treated for emotional, mental, or behavioral difficulties or an eating disorder? I'm going to say no. And had a significant life event that continues to affect the camper? I'm also going to say no. Again, all of this information, though, is if you would like to add it, it just helps us be able to minister to the camper when they get here. So as much information as you would like to share in that regard. Thank you. All right, if I had replied yes to any of these, I would then explain more here, anything that would help the counselors and the staff be able to minister better to Charlie. And then finally, if there's any other information that I would like the camp to know. So basically, if there was anything that we missed that wasn't covered in those questions, I can write it here. And so I'm going to say, Charlie's a cat, so she can only do cat activities. Perhaps your child, though, in a more serious light, gets overheated if they're in the sun for too long. Well, that would be a good place for you to put that information so that way we know. Or maybe your camper, when they go swimming, maybe they can have some sort of ear reaction to when they get into the water. That'd also be something that you can let us know there. Finally, I'm going to put my signature here and then move on. I'm going to put my relationship to the camper one more time. And now that is complete. Moving on, this is our medicine registration form. Now we realize that sometimes medicine changes between now and from when you actually come to summer camp. But for our sake, let's just put in the medications that they are taking now, and we can always add on later, okay? So is your child bringing any medications to camp? I'm going to say yes. And we're just going to say there's just one medication that Charlie is bringing. But for instance, if there are multiple medications, you would need to put in the quantity of how many they would be doing. Not the doses, not how many doses they're bringing or anything like that. Just the medications in themselves. So we're going to do 1. And now I can add or edit meds. Okay, so I'm just going to type in a medication here, and I'm just going to make something up. I'm going to say cat medicine. All right. Now, right here would be the strength. It would just be the milligrams. And so if it's like 5 milligrams, 50 or 200, however, you can do that. Then we have how is it taken? Okay. And so this would be orally. And then we have the quantity. So if it's like a pill, then you would be like, that would be 1 pill every time, okay? Or 2 pills, or however. So we're just gonna say it's 1 really baby pill, okay? So this is now going to be the dosage where we just talk about when she's going to be taking it. And so this is going to be morning and night, when she first wakes up and before she goes to bed, okay? And the reason we're just going to say this is for her mood, okay? Then, of course, the comments, if there's any information that you think would be pertinent to us knowing about the medication, we can add it here, okay? And what we can do is we can also create a schedule here. This is technically all that you would need, but we can also do select sessions. And since they're going to elementary week, we can create a schedule. And right here, I can say, I want her to be able to take this at breakfast and bedtime every single day. So this kind of helps us keep a record of what's going on. I'm going to press save. And already we can see the prescription meds added. And if I needed to add more, I can go do this. You can also do this at any time through our registration portal, okay? Now, would you like to complete an over-the-counter order? Now, this is important. We also have with us a selection of all sorts of medicines. I'll show that to you. We can press Add, Edit, OTC. And already you can see all of these medicines that we have here at the camp already, ready to administer to your campers if they have need. These are all over-the-counter medicines. A lot of them are the children's variety as well. And so topical ointments, milk of magnesia, Robitussin, all of these things are medicines that we can give to your camper if you would like us to be able to do that during the week without having to get extra permission or anything like that. Basically, our nurse will be able to make a judgment call whether or not they need this medicine and be able to give it. Oftentimes, it's the camper that comes asking for this type of medicine anyways. Our nurse, again, is very trained and she knows the dosage and she knows exactly what to do. Most of the time, she's going to encourage your camper to drink more water to see if that will solve the problem. But regardless, we can't administer these medicines unless we have permission to do so. And this is going to save us a lot of phone calls that we would have to make to you in case your camper comes asking for a Tylenol. And so what I'm going to do, since when I drop off Charlie on Sunday, I don't want to really get any calls about medicine or anything like that. So I'm just going to press select all, and it's going to take every single one of the OTC medicines that we have and select them. And if there are like comments on, well, she can't only give her one Tylenol instead of two, I would write that right there in the comment section. All right, and then we have the allergies one more time, but since she didn't have any allergies, I'm going to go add edit allergies and say no known allergies. But you have all of it. If we're just trying to be as thorough as possible, so you can specify every specific thing, so that way it helps us be able to best minister to them and also help cook them meals that they will be able to eat. I'm going to press save and next. All right, this is asking for the cabin mate one more time. I'm going to put Bender. Now, this next page is going to show activity information. Just ignore this page, all right? We don't have the necessary module for this, and our camp isn't quite to the size where we would need to do this. So just press save and next. All right, now we've come to the point where you've actually registered your child for camp. Congratulations. Now there's still a bunch of things that you would still want to do to finish, especially if you had another camper. You could select a new registration and I could register another camper if I wanted to. Or if there was, for instance, I saw that there was that elementary retreat, I could add Charleston to going to the elementary retreat that's coming up as well. But what I'm just going to do is I'm going to go to view dashboard, okay? And you're going to get a little thing set here that says, wait for all the panels of the dashboard to be completely loaded. It's still updating. And use the payment page to make necessary selections and make the payment. I'm going to press OK. So right now, you can see that there's a red thing that says complete registration. And you'll see that there is a red bell over financial. That means that your camper, we have all the information, but we don't have any payment for your camper. And for us to officially reserve the spot, you have to put in a $50 deposit in order to do that. So I'm going to go into financial and see that I owe $310, okay? Because the way that we get that number is camp normally costs $295, but since this is early bird registration, this is before March 31st, I have $25 off. So my new price is $270. Then I added on $40 worth of add-ons. So now that that is the case, I can come over to make a payment. We don't have any transfer codes, so just continue on here. If you would like to donate anything to us, you can do so here from the donation payment. That's just something that CampWise adds on. And if you would like to, all of the money that is donated to us goes straight back into the camp. It doesn't go to paying any of the camp staff. It doesn't go into anything other than making sure that camp is the best experience that your campers can have, okay? For the first time ever, we can also add in all of our camp store monies as well. Now, we recommend bringing between $40 and $50 to camp when you do the camp store because, well, hoodies themselves are a little expensive. So if they want to get a hoodie, they're about $32. Everything else, the camp store things, there's Camp Grace stickers and there's Camp Grace lanyards and Camp Grace stuffed animals. I think the Camp Grace stuffed animals are about $10, things like that. What you can do to help understand how much all the camp store items cost is you can go to our camp store, our online store, and see what the prices are. The prices on the online store versus the ones here will be very, very similar, okay? So I want her to about have $50 because snacks cost about $1 to $1.50 each snack. And so that's what I kind of want to keep that in mind. And finally, we're going to go to our payment options, okay? We don't charge any service fees. And you can also see the breakdown of how much it is going to cost. Now, my recommendation, of course, is that you put in a credit card and you pay here. Now, naturally, I'm not actually sending my cat to camp, so I'm not about to pay this to camp. But to finish the registration, what I'm going to do is I'm going to mail in a check, okay? I'm going to put in the check number. I'm going to put my name, which is on the check. I'm going to want them to do an email receipt. Oh, I started putting in the wrong email. And then I can press save and next. Okay. My online payment has been received. Now, it might not show up right away. You might see this right here because what has to happen since I did a check is at the office now, what we're going to have to do is wait for the check to get in, and then we will process all of it, and then we will register Charlie for camp, okay? But we're going to go back, and so if there are any things that you would like to change, here are the contacts. You can change the contacts. Here's like for Benjamin, for Cheetah, and for Timothy. You can add in more contacts if you so desire by pressing the Add Contact button. We're going to go back to our dashboard. There will be notifications here. It's going to say more about the minimum deposit as well that we're waiting for the confirmation. If anything changes with the camper info, we can also come here and change any of that. Oh, there she is right there. Isn't she cute? With the registration, we can add in more. It's going to show incomplete again until the money is accepted from the main office once the check comes in the mail, okay? But if I wanted to, I can also check the sub-programs. Maybe I enrolled her for these things, and I was talking to Charlie in the car one day, and she was like, you know what, I'm actually not really feeling doing Night Under the Stars. What I could do is I could uncheck that, and then of course we would owe you a balance, and we would contact you on what's the best way in order for us to give you back that money, whether it's crediting it back to your credit card or adding it to their Snack Shack fund, or making a donation to the camp, however you want to do it. And of course, there's the medical. All of these things just bring you back over to the information that you just filled out. You can also come over here and add campers. Remember that you can add in, if you have multiple children, you can add in all of the campers right here. We'll save this information from year to year. So that way, during retreats or for next summer, all that you'll have to do is go in and just make sure all the information is still up to date, making sure it's good. You might have to update the t-shirt size and things like that. But all of that will be in, and once you get it done the first time, it will make registering very easily. The main things we need to remember is that you just have to make the payment in order to secure the spot. If you can't afford all of the payment, you just have to put $50 down to reserve your spot here at camp. Well, I hope that answers any of the questions that you might have about our registration software. I know there's some things that are a little redundant when you have to put them in a couple times. I'm sorry about that, but that's just how our registration software is. I also know that there's some things that you can just skip over, and I hope that this helped you understand the things that you can skip and the things that are important to us. Once these registrations are done, though, you can always log out. Make sure you keep your login information. And so all that you would then have to do is just put in your username and password, and then that will take you back to that dashboard that we had earlier. If you have any questions beyond this video, please shoot us an email at office@cbmcampgrace.com detailing your question. We'd love to help you out and get your camper registered in time for summer camp. Remember, spots are limited, so register sooner rather than later. Remember also, early bird ends March 31st this year. So if you want to get that extra $25 off your camp fee, make sure you register before then. We're looking forward to seeing your camper here at Camp Grace this summer. God bless.